Well, guys, it's that time. It's been a little bit over a year since I've purchased my Tuff Stuff Overland Alpha rooftop tent. I've had it out probably a total of about 40 nights over the last year, and I thought it was time to do a 1-year review. So let's get into it. Alright guys, it's been a year since I've purchased my Alpha, and I can say honestly that I'm pretty happy with it. What I'm going to do is give you the basics of the tent, the pros and cons, what I like, what I wish would have changed, even for the second gen. This is the first gen that I have. It was purchased in November of 2019, took delivery of it in December, and I've been using it all the way, as I mentioned earlier, about 45 nights so far over the course of the year. So I'm going to go over what I like and what I don't like, some of the challenges I've had. But before I get too far into it, guys, hey, if you could please smash that subscribe button, click like if you appreciate any of these videos, and leave a comment below. As always, comment below with any of your questions. I try and get back to you guys as soon as possible. So let's go ahead and get into it. If you guys haven't watched the first video, I did a review on it right about 2 weeks after I purchased it on the first time I had it out. So I'll just go over some of the basics. I have a 2016 Dodge Ram 2500. I built the rack that it's mounted on currently, and the mounting system has held up really well. Those bolts have not moved at all. Neither has the track from the actual frame itself. So I'm really happy with that. The only thing I have done is slid the tent back a little bit, but other than that, it's held up really well. No damage, and really happy with that aspect of it so far. This one is the insulated belly, so it does have that honeycomb layer, so it does provide some insulation. And you can see right here the LED strip for the exterior lighting, as well as there's an LED strip on the inside. Again, had it over a year, no issues with any of the LEDs, and so far real happy with that aspect of it so far. All right, for me, one of the biggest challenges is, I don't know if you can tell from here, but my truck is on 37s, so that is roughly a good 72 inches tall. So it makes it a little problematic getting in and out every once in a while. But I've moved some of my roto packs around so I can climb on that rail to get up in and out. And what I did is I did put a video of me opening up and setting up the tent, and I'll put that at the end of this video, as this is not an initial review and I don't want to bore you guys with that aspect of it. But I haven't timed it, but I believe it takes like 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 3 minutes tops. So what has gone wrong with the tent so far? Not much. There have been a couple challenges, and we'll go around the back of what has happened. And again, I want to remind everyone, this is the first gen, but it looks like I've developed some cancer, if you will. The clear coat is flaking off right here, and that's kind of unfortunate. Not sure what that is. However, I can definitely say for the warranty, I have reached out to Tuff Stuff, and Charlie is working on getting that roof panel replaced for me on a warranty claim. But you can see that it has flaked off quite a bit. Nothing structurally damaged to it, but there are significant spots where it has flaked. So I guess that's one of the cons so far of the Alpha. Other than that, it looks like I developed a wear pattern. I don't know if you could see that, but I'll try and zoom in. Right there, I have a small little hole right about there. And I think what's happening is as the tent is closing, it's rubbing up against the frame, causing some abrasion right there. Hasn't been any issue with condensation for me or moisture, as the few rainstorms that I've had it under, it's directly under the Rainfly, and the Rainfly has done amazingly well. There's been a couple times when I was in Arizona, went through a pretty good downpour, and have had no moisture intrusion at all. All right, before I get on the inside, I'll go over these two little hangers right here. I generally put one of these little light panels in here. I have a thermometer and little odds and ends, although I don't tend to use it very often. This side right here is a shoe holder. So if you want, when you're climbing in, you can drop your shoes in there. Although honestly, I haven't really used it very often. Most of the time I just stick it in my shoes in the corner over there. So let's go ahead and hop up inside, and I'll kind of go over some of that in there. All right. So we are inside. Here is the sunroof. One of the cons, and I don't believe they've changed it for the new version, is you can't use the sunroof or the moonroof or whatever you want to call it unless the Rainfly is completely off, and I'll show you how to take that off shortly. But you do have a nice vent. You have the screen, and then you have the actual hard panel. I'll kind of close that up for right now. You can see what it's like. Again, there's the back panel. It's got a nice layer of insulation on it. And you can see up here, there is the LED light panel that runs the whole length of it. And you can see the abrasion right there. However, as you can tell, it's the Rainfly goes right to about there. So this abrasion is well underneath the Rainfly. So I have not had, again, any water intrusion. The seams held up really well. I'm really happy about that. I've seen some other tent manufacturers where they've had seam tape issues, but as you can kind of see along all the seams, I have no issues, no flaking, no drying, and overall really solid built tent. Really happy with it. Many of you have asked me a couple times the size of this tent, and that is a large sleeping bag stretched all the way across the side. I'll lay down so you can kind of see what it's like when I'm laying down, but you could definitely put 1, 2, 3 people in here very comfortably. And if you had a couple with 2 younger kids, I'd say under 10, you can definitely get them in here comfy, cozy, and you'd be fine to weather out a storm if you need to. Let's see what else. The shocks on both sides have held up really well. I've been in some pretty good wind, and with the exception of rattling, such as that, it hasn't been terrible, and I have not had a need to put on the clamps that the strut braces so that the back doesn't fold down. I've had no reason to do that whatsoever. It's worked out really well. Let's see what else. Here is the connector, the USB connector for the lights. And one thing you can do is this one is for the interior, and this one is for the exterior. Sometimes what I'll do is if I want to read in here at night, but I don't want the light outside, I'll just unscrew this. It's a simple unscrew, and then it's got a 3-prong connector. You just disconnect this one, and then it shuts off the lights for outside. I wish it was done independently, but it's not, and that's my quick fix. So what can you put in here and still have the top closed? That right there is a Browning negative 10-degree bag. It's pretty big, and just to give you a size comparison, this is not compressed, but that's it folded up. So it's a pretty good size bag. And then underneath it, I have a Coleman 30-degree bag. I use that if I have my dog in here, or just as an extra sleeping bag in case my kid comes with me and he's got a sleeping bag to use. So that's the majority of it. Let me spin the camera around and I'll kind of show you what the size is with me laying down. All right, so I'm sitting down almost against the back, but you could see my hands all the way up. And again, I'm 5'11", pretty good reach, and that's me all the way to the side, barely touching it. And then here's my other side. So you definitely got room for 3 adults in here. And again, I'm sitting up against the back right now. And let me turn this around. You can see I got plenty of space, probably another 3 feet in front of my boots until I get to the exit. So again, really roomy in here. Usually I'm in here by myself. It's a ton of room. I've had my son in here as well as my fiance on different occasions, and we have plenty of space. So that's the inside. All right, one more thing before we go back outside is I did a modification. I ran power from my battery in the bed, hooked up to my solar panel, and I hooked up power here on an off switch. It's got 2 USBs as well as a 9-volt. The way I got it in here against it is I cut out a section of the mattress, framed it out, and put it back in, and it's screwed directly in. So it's nice and flush. It's part of the mattress. It didn't really do anything, and I've had it like this for 6 months, and it's been working really well. It's nice because then I have USB power up here when I'm sleeping, and I can read. I could charge my phone overnight because it's hooked up to my battery, and I'll show you how I did that in the bed. All right, so we're back outside, and the way I have it wired, pardon the light right now, is have it ran up through here, up through here, up into the tent, and pretty much just on a toggle switch. So that's the power for the tent. This is for lights in here, and then the other toggle switch is this one down here is for those rear lights. Here I shut it off all the way, and again, similar switch down here. So I have USB, my voltmeter, and then again another set of USB, and then 12 volt out there. But so far, again, it's worked out really well for me. Again, no water intrusion at all so far. Again, the major issue I had was this, which is getting taken care of under warranty, and then that small abrasion up along the side where I think it was rubbing up against, similar to this right here on that far end. As you close it, I believe it's rubbing up against there, but again, here you can see the it's flaking off. other than that, like I said, even with those 2 issues, I am super happy with the tent. Again, it's mounted on my own built rack, and the crossbars are 1.5 by 2 square tube, and no major issues with it. Again, it's been a great tent, super loving it. We're just out here doing some fly fishing with my buddy over there, Chris. We're just up here in the Owens Valley, fishing the lower Owens right now in January, enjoying this beautiful day. And I thought I'd give you guys this review on the tent. Let's see what else. Oh, I need to show you guys how to take off the cover and open up the sunroof. So you gotta undo this Velcro right here and release these straps, which help cinch down the tent and give it a little bit, make it more taut on high winds. What you want to do is undo that one, and they do the same thing right here on that side. Now that you got both sides off, you're going to need to undo the tension rod. Put that in there. Undo this tension rod. Put it inside. And then just simply climb up top. Throw it over. What I like to do is climb inside, open up, and straighten it up in the back. So now that you opened up the top, you can go lay it on the back side so it's nice and neat. So that's what it'll look like hanging over the back. And sometimes what I will do is, because I don't want it flapping in the wind like this, the way it is right now, because the whole purpose of it is to open up the sky so you can see a little better, as well as sometimes for wind, if it's not raining, what I will do is I will either pull it into the door right here and close the door on it, or take the grommet clips, put them on there, and tie it down, stake it down so that it's nice and taut, and you don't have this thing flapping in the wind. And actually that's what I did last night. We're in Alabama Hills, and the first night I got 0 sleep. Then the wind kicked up really bad, and where the tent Rainfly overhangs like this, it was flapping in the wind and hitting against the side. So the second night I folded this back, tightened it down, and it worked out really well. Slept like a baby. So is this tent worth it, you ask yourself? And what's the difference between the first gen and the second gen? Well, I could tell you that the price point between this tent and the I-Kamper or some of the other similar models is significant. I know Tuff Stuff has had a price increase over the last year, but even with that slight price increase, it's such a deal compared to the I-Kampers or the other ones that are similar to it. So again, this is a Gen 1, so this is the first generation from 2019, and they've made some changes since then. One of the changes is there's a cover, an awning that comes off of this window, and that has 2 tension rods similar to that right there. It'll provide a little bit of rain protection, I guess. I haven't had any challenges with rain intrusion, as I mentioned, because as you can see, there is that lip right there that overhangs. So that is one of the changes for the new model. And second, which I think would be definitely beneficial, and I experienced it last night, is under heavy wind, this piece right here rattles significantly. So what Tuff Stuff has done is there's now a Velcro strap that runs the length of that up to right about there, and Velcros this to tensioning against that whole side, similar to this right here. And last night for me, it was keeping me up how this piece right here was tapping with the wind as the air was flowing through it. So at the end of this video, I'll show you how I take the Rainfly off, and that's what I ended up doing. Take the Rainfly off, it wasn't raining, take it off, and then what I do is I tension it down by the grommet clips, and I stake it to the ground, or I sandwich the one end into the door and then to the bed so that it doesn't flap back there. But you'll see how I do that toward the end of the video. So those are the major changes from first gen to the second gen. Even with those new changes, I am super happy with my tent. Like I said, I've had a couple minor issues with the abrasion up there and the flaking of the clear coat in the back, but even with those, I'm super happy with it, and I would purchase it again. Guys, well, that's it. That's the 1 year review of my Tuff Stuff Alpha rooftop hardshell tent. Hope you guys got a lot of information out of it. And again, if you guys are in a market for a hardshell tent, definitely check these guys out. Tuff Stuff Overland 4x4.com. I'll put a link in the notes below. Also, if you're looking at purchasing one of these, I do have a discount code. It's 10% off. Use 80DA10, 80DA10 for 80 Deuce Adventures 10. You'll get a 10% discount off of the rooftop tent and actually any of their gear, as long as it's not drastically on clearance, but you get 10% off of any of their regular day prices. Again, if you found this video helpful, please like this video, leave a comment. I really appreciate hearing from you guys, and as always, subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I will put a link down below, as I mentioned, to Tuff Stuff Overland, as well as any of the gear and things that I use on a regular basis. Some of those might be affiliate links, specifically the ones from Amazon, but I do appreciate you guys using those. It does help me out a lot. And lastly, I have many videos coming, and by the end of this month, I am really optimistically hopeful that I'll get my website up and running, and that will be 80deuceadventures.com. Again, thank you guys so much. Hopefully you guys found value out of this video, and have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. See you on the trail. Cooper, you ready to go? You ready to go, Cooper? Oh yeah. Let's get this thing cleaned up. We're ready to go. Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be.